Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Smitten is in the process of causing trouble on the chair. Anyway, welcome to today's review. I'm your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined as ever for these either terrible or good film. Stop making the subject. No, it's not Morgan, it's Amelia, or the Obsidian Nook, Pal ASMR, whatever you want. Whatever she wants to plug at the end. Smith, please don't jump on the wardrobe. You ain't gonna make it, baby. Do you want Haribo? Do you want Haribo Star Mix?
Oh, do you want the devastating?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're a bit devastated because we found out that in reality, Stacy has heard the dreamies. Well, the devastating news is that we just found out that the green flavored Haribos are in fact strawberry flavored. Sorry if we've just ruined your day by telling you about that.
Our day got.
You did not pick that up because you were about a mile away from the mic.
I said our day is ruined, so yours can be ruined.
Mm-hmm. Our day is ruined and our disappointment is immeasurable. So, as you can see, we are currently reviewing Nerve.
Well, no, they can't see because.
Well, they can see by the title, the thumbnail, and also while they're listening to me say this, it's the video. So we're looking at Nerve. We did not like this film, unfortunately.
I used to like it when I was young.
Yeah, this like Creep, I believe, is the last one you did to see if you were going to keep it. This is another of the films she wanted to do just to see if she was going to keep it or get rid of it. It is straight in the bag to be getting rid of. Ironically, the two films you couldn't decide if you wanted to keep are now our bottom two films on our list. This earns the very rare award I have yet to give out of the only film that has actually bored me while I've been watching it. And as I said to you when we quickly popped out before we started recording, is I've already forgot what I was going to say. I literally was halfway through it, and then the thought just immediately went. But you said when I told you while we were watching it, it was boring me. I said, well, you said to me, "Oh, do you want to pull it?" And I said, after and at the time, we are not ever pulling a film because it's boring, because that means it's a good film we can rip the shit out of a little bit. And when you've got a musician as a member of your cast,
oh my
that is when I'm not sure your film is going to be any good. And oh, would you look at that? It wasn't very good. Just to spoil who it is, it's Machine Gun Kelly, who actually has been in a couple of bits. This film sucked. I really didn't like it. No, I remember what I was going to say. I found it ironic how the film that's all about doing like adrenaline fueled things and all this sort of crap made me bored.
So obviously it's a film called Nerve where they have what is it? It's like some sort of.
It's an app where they can earn cash rewards by doing riskier stunts and like dares, and they're being paid by people called watchers.
But it is a film that it does show you what people will go to in the lengths to get views on social media, likes, follows.
I bet the boomers loved it.
We only had one person die in this film, so we can't.
And it was basically off screen. Yeah, when I googled it to see if anyone died, and I found one person, I was like, I'm gonna hate this film.
So,
this film about like life-threatening stunts, and one person dies.
It's come out quite, but now as I've gotten older, and losing mum and everything, I don't see it in the same way.
No, as you can tell,
I just see it as a bunch of people being really pathetic because you would do anything to get those likes on social media. It's a little bit, sad.
Yeah, it's a bit real.
A little bit what Trisha Paytas done to get all their likes.
Oh, YouTube drama.
Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star.
You're just name dropping people. Please do not bring the drama to my channel. Take it over to hers, which is linked in the description. Anyway, so if you've seen the other reviews, of course, Amelia judges of whether or not she likes a film, of whether she'll get it on DVD. So that's how you know she liked this film at one point, but now it belongs second from bottom. because at least this film had the decency to not have sexual assault in it.
Hmm.
Anyway, we won't get into that. If you want to hear our thoughts on that, you can go watch the Creep review. If you want to be depressed for half an hour or however long that is, and just hear how fucked up all that film is. So, as mentioned, we are doing Nerve today, and we don't like it. So, it's adapted from a 2012 novel. Have you read the novel? You are the bookworm, the book dragon.
I had the novel, well, I had the book rather, and then the film came out, so I never read the book, got rid of the book. Because if you're going to make a film from a book, I'm not going to read the book, I'm going to watch the film or the TV show, like The 100. And
It's a bit easier to take in, isn't it?
I'm
But
going to
usually,
be a lazy cunt when it comes to that and do the films instead.
yeah. But the issue is, a lot of times adaptations are not that good
There
because
was
obviously.
only one book that I read before the film, and that was If I Stay by Gail Forman.
Hmm.
And it is really weird when you read the book first and then they do a film. And what was it? Sarah Destin Along for the Ride. That was a
Did we
book
watch
before a
that?
film.
I've seen you watched something that was adapted from it.
Yeah, I've watched Along for the Ride, which
Was
is
it a
on
Netflix? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it's adapted from a 2012 novel by Gene Ryan. It's directed by Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman. I don't know either of these people, so forgive me. That happens a lot with directors. It's also written by Jessica Sharzer. So I think you can watch this on Netflix if you want to suffer. Because I said we could watch it. For some reason, the picture of it, like used for it, is not the one that's like in the thumbnail. It's a picture of Tommy, I believe. I think it's him on Google. Well, not on Google, on Netflix. It was weird. So we'll get into it. Spoilers ahead. Nothing really happens, to be honest. As I said to you, it was a very incoherent plot. Like, there was, as I said to you on the walk back, I said, what it is someone had some ideas for cool things they wanted to film, and someone went, oh, what if we did that, but they did it for money? And they were like, sold. So that's basically all this is. There is no start and end point for it. It's not like
Well, it just, the only like clear message was the friendship that they knew and became friends because
but then they just forgive each other very quickly. But in the parking lot near the end, they're just like, I'm sorry, and they're like, don't worry about it.
That's true.
Okay. But it's just like, it's not like she's very broke, like she's got loads of debt, and then she's forced into playing the game. It's like she sees her friend making money, gives it a try, and then goes a bit overboard with it. It's not like she needed the money. She was fine. She was possibly going to college. She had quite a nice house.
Well, she shared a bank account.
Yeah, that was weird. She shares a bank account with her own mother. But anyway, we'll get into that. So Venus, who is played by Emma Roberts, who will be... Sorry, some random kids outside just screamed. I'm sorry if the mic
We
picked
can't
that.
have the fan on, so we have to have the window open.
And we have a bus stop, unfortunately, right outside the back garden. So that's fun. Anyway, Venus, who I refer to as V, is played by Emma Roberts, of course, of American Horror Story fame. She's also in Scream 4, which will eventually be covered. So we've covered Scream 1. Yep, and We're the Millers, of course. We're the Millers is brilliant. I want to cover that. And the movie, the adaptation of Aquamarine.
Fun fact, We're the Millers, I used to have on DVD, but it would always skip one part, so I let that go. I did like We're the Millers 2 as well.
They did a second one?
No, they never did a second one of We're the Millers.
Oh, do you mean you liked it as well?
Yeah, I liked it because I had it on DVD, but because it got scratched and it kept skipping apart, obviously I let it go.
Yeah.
But Aquamarine we have, and then Wild Child is another classic.
She's in some popular stuff,
But
as I
she's
say.
well known for...
That's probably where I'd say is her big role. So she's on the computer doing emails and scrolling Facebook with a bunch of stuff I assume they had to get the approval to use, like Twitter and all your typical social medias. When her friend Sydney, who was played by Emily Mead, who was a very annoying character in this film, that you said anyway. As soon as she said, she was like, "Oh, she's annoying." She is known for Boardwalk Empire. This film as well. That's about it, to be honest. She's not in a lot, to be honest. According to Google, if she's in some more, I apologise. So she video calls. She tells Venus about a competition sort of thing called Nerve, where for dares she can win money, 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 money. So V goes to school and takes photos of the school team that includes her crush JP, played by Brian Mark. He's a pointless character that I thought would have more to do with this film, but he's just there for drama. He is known for. He was in The Good Doctor and Luke Cage.
He wasn't the actual one who played the good doctor.
Does he look like the guy who goes, "I am a surgeon"?
Oh, okay.
I am. He's the same kid from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Did you know that? That's really weird. I am a sturgeon.
Oh, do we have to give credit to whatever's...
Machine Gun Kelly.
No, the other one. Is it Cassie?
Who? Oh, Casey Neistat. Yeah, he gets Casey Neistat is in this film for like a brief minute, but I don't know why. He probably got paid way too much money to be in it as well. By the way, she's not just a stalker who takes photos of people. She is like, I don't know why they bothered with all this, because they sort of set her up as this like photography kid that does nothing for any part of the plot. She also meets there with her friend, as previously mentioned, Miles Heiser. I don't know. And one little joke in the credits made me laugh is when they typed his name and it got auto-corrected to milkshakes, which was funny. I must say, what kind of ticked me off a little bit, he is, and this isn't why I'm ticked off, he is a member of the LGBT community. It doesn't specify on Wikipedia, but they have him as like the friend that has a crush on her, but he came out before this film did. So he was already openly part of that community, but the producers or whoever was still like, look, we need you to have a crush on Emma Roberts that goes nowhere. And you are going to play a character that has nothing to do with the plot for the most part. It's very stupid. I don't get it. He was a pointless character, but nonetheless, we'll get on with that. At the game, Sydney completes a dare of flashing her bare ass to the onlookers, getting her suspended. They go to lunch together, including two more friends, Wes and Liv, Mark John Jeffries and Kimiko Glenn. I've never heard of either of these people, so I don't think I'll look up who they are. I need to stop doing that for everyone, but I do want to at least shout out the actors for being in the film, even if the film is bad. Oh, excuse me. Yep, that was weirdly in sync. Stealing embarrasses V by asking JP if he's single, but he says that she isn't his type, causing V to storm out. As I say, pointless drama character. V returns home and decides to sign up to be a player on Nerve. As I say, she just decides to. It's not like she suddenly realises, God, I'd really need the money. She just goes home on the computer, signs up, gives away all her personal information, which is pretty accurate. I mean, she was already on Facebook, so she probably had that happen already. Where she's told to keep it a secret by a typical text-to-speech voice, sounds very similar to the one from Dismantle. Which we heard that elsewhere, and you were like, that's the voice from Dismantle. I'm like, yeah. She phones Tommy, and the two of them go back to the diner together. There she is dead. There, as in there. They, them, there. That shit. She is dead to kiss a stranger for 5 seconds, which she does by kissing Ian, who is played by Dave Franco, who I believe is James Franco's brother. Possibly. I can't remember. He's Franco. Yeah, his brother is James Franco, of course. Famous for all the movies with, like, the very funny man, Seth Rogen. I did Now You See Me, Now You See Me 2, 21 Jump Street, The Disaster Artist.
Neighbours.
Yeah,
I used to love Bad Neighbours.
he's one of those actors where he's in a lot of like interesting films. But anyway, that's not the point. We're not here to discuss their movie histories. Not too much anyway. So her dad will reward her with $100 because it's a pretty simple one. It's not very risky. She watches as Ian does a strange. Well, she does kiss him and wins $100. She then watches as Ian does a strange dance and sings to a song as his dare from Nerve. Ian and V are dared to go to the city with one another due to Nerve's watchers approving of their chemistry. She goes outside without Tommy and meets with Ian, where the two of them team up. From here on out, Tommy is basically reserved to occasional scenes to pad out the movie's runtime, if I'm honest, because he sort of appears every now and then just to watch what V's doing, and then that's it.
Mm.
It's a bit of a waste of time having him in it, but hey, the actor got paid, so that's good on him, I suppose. So they make it into the city, and the two are told to go into a big fancy shop to do two separate dares. V's mother, Nancy, who's in an earlier scene, who's played by Julie Lewis, who I know from somewhere, but I can't think of where from. She's from Natural Born Killers, from Dusk Till Dawn.
When you get to that.
Yeah, we will. It's not far away. So yeah, she's in a couple of films that are well known. She's notified on her phone about money being deposited into a bank account because apparently they share one, which is confusing because Emma Roberts is not a child, so she is old enough to get a job, so she can have her own money. So her mother is a bitch for that, but here we are. V is there to try on an expensive dress which she likes, and Ian walks out of another changing room. Amelia just wanted to make a little side note about this dress.
So this dress is obviously green and sparkly, and I've always really liked that dress.
It's very
And it didn't
glitzy.
really go.
Mm.
But it was free, like, was it $3,000 or $4,000?
$3,500, I think.
When she looked at the label.
Yeah. So Tommy in the diner signs up to be a watcher on Nerve as well, and watches her with Ian. As I say, he's just a character that's there. It's like the movie sort of ran out of ideas of what to do with Tommy as a character until like the third act where he sort of reappears. Ty, who's played, of course, by Machine Gun Kelly. Don't need to explain what he's known for because he makes music, so you can find his music online. He is nearby and is dared to steal Ian and V's clothes, which coincides with a dare for the two of them to leave the store, which unfortunately for them means they have to leave in their underwear. Outside, they find a bag attached to Ian's motorcycle containing the dress and Ian's suit, which have been paid for presumably by the Watchers. Well, they think it's by the Watchers, but it's not important. Tommy and Sydney find out that V's sudden increase in popularity and agree to meet at a party. V and Ian go to a tattoo shop where Ian draws a design for V, which she is dared to get.
Which we made so many comments about that tattoos.
It's very bad. It's like the middle of the night in this back alley fucking tattoo shop with this fucking lunatic of a tattoo artist, which I will shout out. His name was Dirtbeard or something. He is played by Josh Ostrovsky. He was probably the best part of that scene because he was so over the top. It's just the middle of the night. I don't know. They did a walk-in where they drew the tattoo as soon as they got there, and the artist was just like, "Cool." I think they literally interrupted another guy who was having his done. And they were just like, "Oh, fuck off. You can wait."
That was so weird.
It was so weird and out of place and unrealistic. I think there's a hair in my drink. So yeah, it's a tattoo of a lighthouse, which is off her favourite book. Like, okay.
Which the book was in the beginning. Reading it.
He was reading it because someone gave it to him, which was kind of a way of her being able to choose him because he's reading that book. I don't know. Ian puts a song on by the Wu-Tang Clan, and V tells him about her brother who died, who was a fan of it. This isn't the death we were on about, but I forgot he dies in it. They don't die in it, he's just dead off screen for whatever reason. Tommy calls his friend Hacker Queen, which is a stupid name, and I hate how I'm going to have to refer her to it by that. She is played by Samira Wiley, who will provide him a passkey for the dark web, give him access to the... No, I don't know why he wanted access. No, he wanted to look up Ian because dodgy, I guess. Ian receives a new dare as Tommy does some research on Ian, finding that he stole his motorcycle and that he had an incident in Seattle. Ian's dare involves him making it 60 miles an hour on his motorcycle blindfolded. So Ty arrives and gives V something for one of his dares, which is also used as the blindfold for Ian to do on his motorcycle. Ty just literally gives it to her, takes a picture and fucks off. Right, thanks Ty, thanks for being in the film. So yeah. Oh, hang on, I've just fucking pressed page down as always. So at the party, Liv goes to Sydney and shows everyone at the party V and Ian making it to 60 miles an hour on his bike. Ty meets with Sydney at the party and suggests that the two of them meet up, which she is sort of forced to by Ty, because he sort of clicks their phones together and that makes them a team. He also gives her his number or something for plot reasons later on down the line. In a very rushed finale. So Ty meets with... Yep, done that, read that bit. Nancy, in the meantime, calls Tommy and tries to get him to tell her what's going on, which he struggles to explain, which totally doesn't make it sound obvious that something weird's going on. Ian and V speak with one another at a carousel where they are secretly filmed insulting Sydney, which she sees because she's watching her live stream. And the two then decide to crash the party. Sydney is dared to cross a ladder between two buildings, which she attempts, but drops her phone, which classes her as bailing. Considering we've just watched Scream 6 recently, and there's a ladder scene in that where unfortunately the phone isn't the only thing that gets dropped. I was just like, I wish I hadn't looked up that someone, like one person died, because then I would have been rooting for her to be just splattered on the pavement. A random Casey Neistat cameo, as mentioned earlier, is a YouTuber who...
I feel like he wasn't.
He was just randomly thrown in to be like influencer.
I kind of feel like when they did this film, they were trying to appeal to the younger generation or those who are on YouTube or something or another.
Yeah. So he randomly shows up. He's another of the players on Nerve. He tries to steal a cop's gun, I think, and fails, getting arrested. Lamau. Another like part of this little montage includes Ty lying on some train tracks as a train passes over him, which puts him in first place for that night's game of Nerve. Ian and V make their way to the party where V finds Sydney making out with JP. V and a drunk Sydney argue, but V receives a dare to finish what Sydney failed at, so going over the ladder. These two properly insult each other, and it seems like the friendship's going to end, and then later on it's just like, sorry, don't worry, lol, we're friends again. What? So she goes to do what Sydney was going to try and do in order to finish their dare.
So the game makes me jealous of each other.
Yeah, it plays on each other's hatred.
Because if you think about it, how many people do anything for like attention on YouTube?
People love drama on the internet.
Media.
So V makes her way over the ladder and into the other building, putting her in first and upsetting Tommy. Tommy reveals that Ian was dared to bring V there to fight with Sydney. Ian hurries her into an elevator to explain in private, and she threatens him to go to the police, which he tells her not to do. However, when she goes to a police officer who does not... I'll start that again. She does go to a police officer who does not believe her at all, causing Nerve to take all the money she earned away and Ian to do a runner. Nancy phones V as Ty intercepts her and just knocks her out. where she later awakens inside a shipping container. A TV plays that informs her she is now a prisoner for snitching, and the only way she can undo what happened is by winning the final. Ian catches up with her and explains the incident in Seattle where his friend fell to his death during a dare, and he went to the police, causing him also to become a prisoner. This is our only death of the film, technically. He just sort of, there's no violence, they're hanging off a crane and he falls into the fog and disappears. Cool. He insists that he will lose the final in order for her to be free. Tommy and a remorseful Sydney go to where V is in an underground parking area, passing Ian as he leaves. They try and leave with V, but she suggests that they reveal the names of the anonymous users to end the game. This is where the third act sort of takes a very out of place turn, because it's just like they just think that revealing the names of all the anonymous people who are placing money on it is going to end the game. V asks if Tommy could change the source code of Nerve while Sydney buys them some time, as Ian is made to climb a crane, like he did when his friend died, as mentioned. A drone informs him to hang from it for 5 seconds by one hand, which he does, putting him in the finals as well. Tommy and Sydney meet with some hackers, including Queen, to hack it. V on a ferry receives a package from a watcher and arrives at Liberty Island, where she reveals the package as a revolver, allowing her entry to a secret area. V reunites with Ian at an arena in the hidden area where they both must shoot their opponent to win. V doesn't shoot him, and Ty, who is there, has his own gun and volunteers to do it, rallying the crowd to his side. V does the typical hero speech, just plays as the moral fucking judge of everyone else, being like, "You really wanted us to all fight to our deaths and kill each other? What is wrong with you? Even though I was more than willing to do it." Oh, God. So she then tells Ty to shoot her. Nancy meets with Tommy and the others, demanding an explanation. Meanwhile, the Watchers manage to vote for Ty to shoot her. The timer runs out, revealing the crowd voted for him to shoot her, and he does, which seemingly kills her. Queen presses a magic button. The typical hacker presses one button and that does everything, which reveals the Watchers' real names, which causes them all to sign out of Nerve and shut the servers down. Watchers all leave as Ty approaches Ian and V, with her revealing that Ty was just using blanks after Sydney brought him in on the action by calling him with the number he gave her earlier. So Tommy and the others rejoice that Nerve is now offline as the movie ends. And that was Nerve. Very, very rushed finale, as mentioned. It was a film. It was definitely a film that happened. As you could tell, we didn't like it, as we mentioned earlier, and you can understand why I was so bored, despite this film being like so adrenaline fueled, and being like, yeah, the stakes are high despite nothing happening. No one was even really injured. I mean, the most injuries we got was Ty punching her in the face, and that was it. So yeah, we definitely did not like this film, and I think we're recording the next review straight after this because I've got to work the next few days, and I really want to pick a film that isn't shit. So, of course, any thoughts you want to give before we wrap up?
Just that it's not the same as it used to be when I used to watch it.
Would you recommend?
Nah, don't do it.
There's not a lot of redeeming qualities for this film. Like the far away shots of them on the motorcycle is obviously stunt doubles. Because he's blindfolded, of course, you can hide the fact it's not. Is it Dave Franco? I can't remember. Is it? I already forgot his name, and we're fucking literally reviewing it. Dave Franco. You can see it's not him, and because she's got long hair, she can turn away from where the camera is and have all the hair blowing. It just didn't seem. I know when you're watching a film, you've got to kind of suspend your belief of reality and all that. But my God, this was stretching it. So yeah, not a good film. We didn't enjoy it in the slightest. As I say, it's the first film we've ever reviewed that actually bored me. Because Creep, at the very least, had some gore to it, even if sexual assault was thrown in for no reason for the plot. So yeah, that was Nerve. I don't really know what else to say. I've been your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined of course by Amelia, whose links you can find in the description. And you can of course find us and a third member of the channel who exists and does other stuff, Morgan. You can find him here as well. You can find us here. You can find all our social medias and stuff in the description. And we will see you next time.